the middle of a fierce battle, almost ravaged by the very existence of the Sudan, a leader who did not step out, did not bargain, and did not retreat. General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the commander who withstood the middle of the storm, observed the strikes one by one, draining his enemy till it turned into a deliberating body that fell under the strikes of the Sudanese army. The victory was not a coincidence. It was the harvest of strategic mind that carefully formulated its plans, drawing the features of the victory before it was achieved on the ground. Perhaps the follower of al-Burhan's biography realized that this victory was not just a real-time reaction, but a result of long experience in the battlefields, in-depth studies in the arts of warfare and strategic deception. His master's thesis at the Staff College, entitled The Art of Strategic Deception, was like a roadmap to what happened later in this fateful war, where he managed to transform militia missions into a mirage, luring them into a long battle of attrition lost by the initiative and wiping out all the illusion of its rapid victory. In the morning of April 2023, the Rapid Support Militia launched its blitz, deluding that it could take over the country within days. The militia's main bet was the enemy and the element of surprise, taking advantage of the speed of its movements to strike the army in its depth. But Burhan, who understood the rules of the military game well, was ready to observe the first strike without losing his balance. The commander applied the principle of strategic deception he studied and mastered, not being drawn into a direct, unaccounted for confrontation, but letting the enemy penetrate further, believing that he was making easy gains, while the army was repositioning and luring the militia into the quagmire of long attrition. This step was crucial. It is initially transformed the numerical and logistical militia's superiority into a heavy burden that dragged it towards a gradual collapse. After the army observed the first shock, the most dangerous phase began, slowly draining the enemy, gradually exposing its weakness. Burhan knew that the rapid support depended on a rapid movement and tactical flexibility, but he also realized that such a force could not withstand long and extended war, especially if it was cut off from its sources of supplying and logistical support. Strategically intelligent, the army cordoned off the militia, targeting their vital positions and forcing them to fight long battles in hostile environments. This war was not only a confrontation with arms, it was a war of nerves and information war, a war of psychological exhaustion, and it's exactly the principle underpinning the theories of strategic deceptions, where the enemy is pushed to make wrong decisions based on misinformation or on illusions of instantaneous superiority. The proof not only opened the military battle, but also opened other fronts on the enemy. He sought the militia politically, exposing its crimes before the international community, until transformed an armed forces aspiring to rule into internationally ostracized entity. Internally, he strengthens the army's image as the protector of the homeland, increasing popular cohesion around it and awakening any potential torture incubator for the militia. As the months passed, it was clear that the militia lost the element of surprise and began to collapse under pressure. These leaders defected, their strengths eroded, and they turned into scattered groups, looking for survival at all costs. When the decisive movement came, the army did not hesitate to strike, regaining cities and strategic positions one by one. This was not just a military victory, it was an end to the dream of chaos, a victory for wise leadership approach that did not succumb to pressure and did not fall into enemy traps, but led it to die in a calm and thoughtful manner. In history books, it will be written that Sudan has faced the most serious conspiracy in its recent history, but it has not broken. Abdel Fattah al-Burhan's name will be mentioned not only as a military leader, but as a strategic thinker who employed everything he learned in the art of strategic deceptions to achieve a victory that would not have been possible without patience and proper planning. Today, Sudan stands on the cusp of a new phase, wounded but triumphant, exhausted but steadfast, because when the homelands are tested in their great misfortune, they either fall forever or get up bigger than it was.